Can we solve these equations? Well, up until this point, the only kind of equation that we know how to solve is a linear equation. So let's look at these two equations. The equation on the left is clearly a linear equation. I know that it's linear because my variables only have an exponent of 1. When I look at the equation on the right, I notice now my variable x has an exponent of 2. I don't think that we've solved any equations like this up until this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare these two equations and we're going to see how they're similar and how they're different and what steps do we need to take to be able to start solving the equation on the right. So let's start with the equation on the left. This is definitely a linear equation. To solve a linear equation, we combine the variables on one side and we get the constants on the other side. So to combine like terms, we do 3x minus 2x, and we get x plus 4 equals 9. Then we would subtract 4 from both sides, getting a solution of x equals 5. And of course, we always check our answer, so we replace x with 5 in the original equation. 15 minus 10 plus 4 equals 9, and a little simplifying tells us that 9 equals 9. So yes, we have the correct solution. Now let's look at this equation over here. This is not a linear equation. So, do we think we can use the same steps to solve this? Well, let's try and see what happens, because like I said, up until now, all we know how to do is solve a linear equation. So we think we could probably use the same steps maybe? Well, unfortunately, we can't combine like terms. We can't do 3x squared minus 2x because they're not like terms. So let's go to the part where we subtracted 4 from both sides. At least we can do that. Then we get 3x squared minus 2x equals 5. But now what? We're stuck. How do I isolate x? I have no way of getting x by itself on one side of the equation of the equal sign. So what we're going to learn as we wrap up this module is how we solve equations like this one on the right. This is called a polynomial equation. It's called a polynomial equation because on the left-hand side we have a polynomial. We have a variable with a whole number exponent of 2. So it's higher than 1, so it's a polynomial, but now it's not linear anymore. So we have to have different strategies for solving. In the second part of this PowerPoint presentation, we will find out how we go ahead and solve this equation.